G'day average riders. This video was made not long after buying my KTM 1090 Adventure R. This was my first real ride off-road and is my first impressions of the bike.
One thing you kind of got to learn on a big bike like this is that on a little bike you see a lot of the little ruts and things, and you just sort of pump the throttle and do a little wheelie over them. The big bike with all its weight doesn't kind of do the same, so you just got to learn to trust the front end to just roll through, and otherwise if you give these things too much input you upset them. So yeah, you kind of just got to let the bike, you're the passenger, and you got to remember that the bike is going where it wants to go, and you just got to kind of point it in the right direction and just hold on and let the bike do its job. Otherwise all you do is fight it and give it unwanted input. But so far it's great, just, you know, in the middle gears, wind on and off the throttle, it's super smooth, and just, you know, have fun. Whee! Oh, that was a big pothole. I could feel it hitting the rims there, and KTM stock rims are notoriously soft, so yeah, I've got to remember my place, and that I have dropped the pressures a little, and not to go too nutso. Well, if I've got a problem, I'll find out soon enough. I definitely considered something like a T7, but just kind of felt it was a little small for me. You know, what I found with my 690 is it's fantastic through stuff like this, bit buzzy, but you know, supremely capable, heaps of fun, especially the more technical stuff which I like to do. But when you want to just do an easy touring ride, you know, it's definitely fatiguing. The T7 I imagine would be smooth and all the rest of it, but you know, the weight is a little lighter than this, which is good in the tricky stuff. But you know, again, if you want comfort and smooth, sort of that 220 mark is where that I believe that kind of starts to happen. And you know, a good engine, great suspension, which this thing has. That was the other thing about the T7. I'm a heavy guy, and you know, you can hit bumps pretty hard just in the general course of riding, and you know, there's no substitute for good suspension, and KTM makes great suspension. Sure, you can mod the hell out of it and get it to where you want it to go, but by the time you start faffing around with all that, you've spent more than buying a bike already set up out of the box that's got the pedigree. So that's what I've done, and so far it's only, you know, 20-30 k's into the ride, but man, it's just feels fantastic. Alrighty, so here's where we get off the main fire road, and this last section of this section becomes a little bit more sandy and twin tracky. So this will be interesting. This is kind of really what I wanted to get a feel for, what the bike would be like in this terrain. I haven't really brought a big bike, let's clean that up, into this sort of stuff in the past. Plenty of time on the smaller bikes in a lot sandier conditions than this, but yeah, we'll see how she handles. I'm not expecting it to be anything other than what I've experienced so far. That is pretty rock steady, but you know, definitely the bike will move around a little more, so it'll and I'm carrying a lot more weight than I would normally do in these conditions, so we'll see how she goes. And I know the track gets a little worse further down, so you know, and that'll be a bit more of a true test. Yeah, this little track here. Alright, let's just see where this takes us. Okay, this is the soft shit here. Gotta get loose and back. Oh, there you go, that's not bad. It's pretty predictable, really. Depending on your gearing, you might use first gear, which you wouldn't normally use on the smaller bikes, a few whoops, but on this bike it seems to be suitable. Okay, yep, she wants to get thrown around. Yeah, this is soft and sandy now. Bit of a bump. Gotta remember to use plenty of throttle out of the sand. Oh yeah, she's good and sandy here. Probably wouldn't have come in here had I known it was like this, but to be honest, this is exactly what I need to figure out how to ride. Okay, this track's definitely a lot longer than I thought it would be, and certainly a lot sandier than I expected it to be. Remember to keep using your feet and not make it about the arms. Use the throttle to steer the back. Not that I need to be telling you guys any of this stuff. I'm sure some of you are looking at this going, you pussy, stuff's easy. Ooh. Hey, tell me I'm out, tell me I'm out. And I'm out. Well, I've got to say, that's a win. Woo! Well, here we are in the natural habitat of the big 1090R. Country roads, fast, open, flowing. Even with knobby tyres, this thing just cruises through these sorts of roads. Putting the old cruise control on makes a big difference to this kind of riding as well. Just takes the fatigue out, select your speed, sit back, enjoy the view, watch the road, and yeah, just get the most out of it. So I'm probably gonna, it's starting to get quite warm, I'm probably gonna slab it back to home. So I probably won't do, well, I won't do any more filming of the ride, but I might stop, have a little break and just give a final little review of what I found this morning. Okay, so I'm not sure if I've chopped my head off or how this is going to sound, but I've pulled over to a nice shady spot for a coffee
and a biscotti, because that's what adventure bike wankers do. Not too far off the highway, so you may hear some of the sports bikes roaring past, as this is a bit of a favourite road. So I really just was going to give a couple of quick conclusions to my ride today. Didn't start out as a review, as I said before, but it's kind of turned into that way. This is the first decent off-road stint that I've done on the bike since I fixed a few issues after buying it second hand. It's done 20,000 kilometres, 2018 model, so it makes it, 4 years old nearly. And it's been an amazing bike so far, actually. Really comfortable and stable on, forest roads, well graded. So that was easy. First of all, easy to manage the weight and the steering. Really comfortable because you're up and down off the seat. The ergos are pretty good. I'm very tall at 6'5", 196 centimetres. So bigger than your average, and about 4 or 5 kilos. So don't know how many pounds that is, 245, something like that. And yeah, the bike is great. It's easy to handle for a guy my size, and dare I say anybody shorter. It's not going to have too much trouble with this as long as you can get both feet on the ground. Comfortable, powers heaps, lots of torque, really smooth down low, and just a really enjoyable bike without spending $25,000-$30,000 on the latest adventure weapon that prices seem to be creeping up to for new. This bike was about 15 and a half, plus I've spent about $1,000-$1,500 on modifications like cruise control. I put the off-road dongle in because I'm sick of changing settings every time I turn on and off the bike, and that's worth its weight in gold. Set it for off-road mode, which for ABS, which means a little bit of ABS on the front, no ABS on the back. Turn traction control off, soften the power into off-road mode, and it is just easy to handle. And what was really demonstrated for me today was that the route that I had planned, I was enjoying myself so much that I just turned off and followed a track that was on my GPS. What I didn't realise was that track was actually an old track from a previous ride on my 690, and was an adventure ride with smaller bikes. And I found myself on a twisty, relatively tight sand twin track, and quite sandy, soft sand twin track. It looked familiar, but I thought, no, that wasn't on my route. So I didn't think about it, I just rode it. And the bike was just really good, kept the speed up, kept on the back tyre, and just used my feet and pushed around with my feet rather than try and fight it with the bars. And the bike just cruised. In fact, I went through more comfortably on that than I did on the 690, which I had to spill into one of the corners because I was probably trying to ride it faster than my ability. And this thing, I was cautious, so took it easy, and the bike just cruised through. So really impressed with that. Says volumes for how capable the bike is. And yeah, really good. On the highway, smooth, comfortable. You're not going to be going breakneck speeds, but 120, 130 kilometres an hour, no problem. No problem with the screen, even for my height. Good protection. The cruise control that I fitted just makes that stuff super easy and comfortable. The seat is a pain, but every bike I buy, the seat just isn't made for guys like me. So I've ordered a Power Parts seat, comfort seat. I believe they're really good. If it ever arrives, then I'll be able to try it out, and I'll let you know what that's like. But can't be happier with the purchase. I thought I wouldn't go back to a large adventure bike. I thought the small bikes were great, and they are in the traily stuff, twin trail, dual sporting, fantastic. Unless you're a really good, confident rider for a big bike like this. But I have to say, if you're going to do adventure, if you're going to do road 50-50 or 50-50 road and dirt, hard dirt or hard packed dirt, what a great bike. Absolute fantastic. So hopefully you got something out of that if you're interested. If not, I hope you just enjoyed the scenery. and I'll catch you on the next ride. Cheers.